Okay, let's bring on board then our experts. Joining in on the show this evening, we've got Arthveda Fund Management's Vikas Gupta and Motilal Oswal's Ramdev Agrawal is here with us as well. Gentlemen, many thanks for taking time out for us. Mr. Gupta, I'll begin by asking you, the past 5 years have not been particularly rewarding for the typical investor who is, on the Lal Street. Do you see the next few years providing a better opportunity for Indian equities, and what kind of returns can we expect, say, over the next 1 to 2 years?
We take a 3 to 5 year view, okay, but for next couple of years uncertainties are going to remain unless the election throws up a very stable government, in which case you could expect a very large boost, but otherwise chances are high. As of today we can't say that, so chances are high that the uncertainty will remain, okay. But having said that, there will be numerous sectors which will continue doing business. India is not shutting down for business. India might do slow business or fast business on a top line level, but if you take company by company, sector by sector, already the companies have been well prepared to go through the stress. So there are numerous companies which are doing great business. They've adjusted their strategy to handle this kind of uncertain environment. So just to give you the complete view, we have also done analysis in the historically, and when the market today is somewhere around 2.5, 2.6 price to book, okay, next 5 years has given 30% plus CAGR, okay. So that's the kind of returns which are expected if you are looking at a long term.
Right. Kane India was also one stock which was in focus. It ended actually about 1% lower. At one point in time, it was much lower than that. The street seemed to have not taken much out of the buyback price. Ramdev, what did you make of Kane India's buyback price? Because it seemed that the Lal Street was a bit disappointed from the 335 mark which the company chose to arrive upon.
So I think the move is fantastic in the sense that their company is moving on the right direction in terms of using the cash to buy back, and but I don't know, I think this price should not be attractive enough for anybody to offer 10% of the company, but the management knows better, at what price they can get the Can PLC shares, because that seems to be the main target of getting. So they might be having some feelers from them that 335 is a good price to offer, and they will surrender or something like that. But otherwise, for minority shareholders, there is nothing in that.
Mr. Gupta, give us 2 to 3 sectoral overweights that you have in your fund in the Indian market, and why?
For our fund, Alpha Fund, what is overweight is the PSU mining stocks. So NMDC and Coal India are two of our top end stocks. Then other overweight stocks are in auto sector. So two-wheelers are looking very, very good. So Bajaj Auto, Hero are the two ones. M&M and Maruti are also Tata Motors. So auto sector is looking very good. Some from IT, so HCL and Infosys. And we have some from the banking sector, which is PNB and Axis.
Ramdev, earlier we gathered HUL, chief indicating at a slowdown in this entire consumption theme. What do you make of the consumption space right now from the listed names? Because we have seen some fair amount of run-up in other names from the broader markets like Just Dial, even Titan, Jubilant FoodWorks of late.
See, one of the things we have seen is that wherever there is a quality of business and quality of management, and if with that growth is combined, then there is no stopping, irrespective of the valuation. Whether it is an Asian Paint, whether it is a Just Dial, whether it is a iShares or TechM, TCS, even now Infosys is joining. So, these 20-25 names, wherever there is a quality, growth and longevity of the franchise, I don't think the valuation has mattered. The valuation is all in the minds of the investors and mutual fund managers, not in the mind of the market. Market has been relentlessly moving wherever there is a quality and growth.
Mr. Gupta, you interact with several international investors pretty regularly. What's the feedback you're getting in terms of what they're making of the investment climate in India right now?
Yes, we can clearly see that. Few months back, about let's say 6 months back, we had traveled abroad to discuss with global investors about India strategy, about our Alpha L50 fund, and everyone was of a very, very negative view that even though the rupee returns will be there, they will be taken away with the dollar depreciation, okay, rupee depreciation against the dollar. So they were not so keen. But again, recently we've been out, and the environment is very different. Okay, people want to invest in the Indian markets today, and this is huge interest.
Ramdev, let's talk about price action or interesting price volume action which we've observed in some of the industrial stocks, cyclicals and metals, select metal stocks like Tata Steel seem to be indicating that markets are confident that the rate of change for the economy related stocks would be constructive. For those who are actually taking positions out in these particular pockets, are they really smart investors or are they really pinning a lot on hope?
See, these are contrarian buy. I mean, these large unpopular companies, they had been beaten down to abnormally low levels, and some of them are still lying there. So when the hope comes in the economy, which is there for last month or two, we have seen the rally coming to these stocks. But if the hope is belied, in the sense that mandate is not liking of the market, it's completely fractured, then clearly again this rally will turn out to be a false rally.
All right, Ramdev, Vikas, gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining us on the show this evening.
We'll slip into a short break and come back and focus on international markets. Our guest this evening is Ishaq Siddiqui, who's a market strategist at